Askreddit thread. What do you wish was socially acceptable? I think I've read a couple of these before in the past. In Korea, leaving on time after work hour is over. The amount of overtime here is ridiculous and actually looks down upon if you leave on time or leaving before your superior leaves. And these fuckers don't even pay for overtime most of the time. This is a problem in the US as well in salaried position. In many companies, they look down on you if you aren't putting in extra hours, even if it isn't really needed. I heard that it also looked down on to not go out drinking after work. Like it's viewed as not participating in team building exercises. Is it true? Is that true? Yes, and same rule applies here too. If your superior does not go home first, you just have to keep going. You could leave early at one point, but people will give you shit for it. Like karaoke and more drinking at different places. Samsung actually cracked down on the hawk chic forced drinking culture. The company still pays for it, but there are limitations to how much your boss can expect. That said, on the ground it may not work as well because your superiors still have a lot of control over you. Hall chic can be fun as you can drink at the company's tab, but if your boss likes to go late, that can be rough. So the company pays for it. That sounds pretty fun. Adults playing hide and seek. There's nothing more intense than the feeling of being hunted. Fuck you, I'm not fixing that. Wait, what? Did he do a spelling error? After a certain age, it's called manhunt and is still acceptable. I went on a manhunt once. I just got back from Nam. I was hitchhiking through Oregon. Next thing I know, there's a bunch of cops chasing after me through the woods. I had to take them all out. It was a bloodbath. Actually, I'm from Louisiana, and this is pretty normal during storm season. If our power goes out during a bad storm, all the neighbors just come and go to whoever has beer, board games, a generator, a gas-powered stove/water heater. Once we're good and drunk, we play board games. The kids play hide and seek during the day, and at night, when the kids go down slumber party style, all the adults run around and play hide and seek in the dark, and Seeker is the only one allowed to have a low-powered flashlight to find everyone. No LED allowed. The older people around 60 plus will stay inside and cook and watch the kids. Grammar, we don't normally eat the kids. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Skipping, faster than walking and fun as fuck. My son skips a lot and gets in trouble for it at school. As if being a happy kid loves to skip down the hallway is not acceptable. Gets in trouble for skipping? Does your son go to the same school as Matilda? Actually, that's actually kind of an old movie. It's a 90s movie, I think. Napping in the middle of the day or in public. I wish I could just conk out on a bench on a chair for like 20 minutes sometimes. But then I'd look really sketchy. It's actually really common on college campuses. But your friends will take pictures and post them on Facebook. Doesn't sound so bad. Taking a day off from work just because you mentally need it. It's hard enough at my job to call out for being ill. But when you're dealing with a lot of shit and you need that mental day to shut down for 12 hours or so, while still being awake and you can't actually need it, no one gives a shit. Edit. I just wanted to point out that the question was about what we wish was socially acceptable. I know that I can just call in with a stomach virus and be okay, but the point is that I wish I could call into work and specifically say, hey, my brain can't handle the workflow today. A place I worked allowed us to take 3 due vet days a year, in addition to our vacation allowance. Basically, you just call in the morning and say, hi boss, fuck today, I'm staying in bed. And that was it. It was really appreciated by everyone. That sounds cool. Mental health only matters to society when there's mass killing, and even then it doesn't matter enough to do anything about it. Dinner for breakfast. Yeah, everybody loves the idea of having bacon and eggs at night, but if I want a cheeseburger in the morning somehow, that makes me a disgusting ham beast. I see nothing wrong with dinner for breakfast or having breakfast for lunch or dinner. It's a matter of taste. If I want a burger or pizza at 9 a.m., I'll have one, damn it. And there's also something else about, dinner and breakfast. It's totally fine to have the same breakfast multiple days in a row, like eating cereal every day or having bacon and eggs. But God forbid you have dinner multiple days the same day in a row. It's like you're having spaghetti for dinner again? Didn't you just have that yesterday? Like, I'm sure some people do it, but it's a socially weird thing to do. To eat the same dinner every day, but it's totally fine to eat the same breakfast every day. It's weird how those kinds of things happen. Coming into work later and working later. Everybody gives me the hairy eyeball when I come in at 10 a.m. But none of those fuckers are around when I leave at 7:30. No one gives me a well done when I work those occasional 60 or 80 hour weeks. Or when I'm on site at 3 a.m. for a switch replacement. No, they gotta be smartasses and say, thanks for coming in today, all snarky, like, fuck you, Carl. TLITT, that everybody hates Carl. I would rather sit at home as a valid excuse for going out on a cold day or rainy days. I do this on nice days sometimes. Netflix isn't gonna watch itself. It probably does if you just leave it on. Wearing blankets as jackets or over jackets, just for fun. Edit, I have given this a lot of thought and you guys are my people. Like a poncho? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of. I literally mean a comforter. You're in luck. That looks like a comforter. Alright. My god, this is the ugliest goddamn thing I've ever seen, so it's probably like being wrapped in heaven. If I were a bus driver, it would be smashing into cars that are double parked and blocking the bus lane. I, as a pedestrian, would like to smash cars with a baseball bat / golf club when they're parked on the crossing or sidewalk. Rollerblading. I feel like at some point rollerblading went from being an awesome thing you did as a kid to a totally socially awkward thing that probably means you're super gay. But I thought it was a fun way to exercise. Rollerblade actually sounds pretty fun. Just grab a hockey stick and people will think you're practicing. Nowadays, you have to tell your parents that you're gay before you buy a pair. So ridiculous. I own an adult scooter, and I feel like there's some stigma about it. Like, scooters are just for kids. Stigmas were created by uptights who have no joy or dream in life. Just have fun. Being nice on Xbox. Rip my inbox. Also, I am nice on Xbox, but other than Battlefield or Minecraft most of the time, I almost always am getting yelled at for being a fucking weeb noob, and I'm told to go fucking kill yourself, you fucking retard. I mean, everyone gets that, but it's just fucking stupid. Eat a dick, MLG. Last night I had a really good conversation with your mom. You son of a decent human being. Not wearing a bra. Only reason I wear one is so my glass cutters don't show through my clothing. If I had my way, I would never wear one. They're uncomfortable and unnecessary as my boobs are small enough to not need any support. Just do it like you're Rachel from Friends. I was watching a rerun of Saturday Night Live that had Jennifer Aniston hosted, and she was doing her monologue. I can't stop staring at her boobs because her nipples are at full tension. Maybe it's just her? It was the 90s things, if I recall. She wasn't the only one, but she was probably the most famous. Let's see. Slapping someone who cut in line. Anyone skips the queue in the UK, they get bitch-tutted straight away. We even bitch sigh and bitch glare at them for good measure. Napping at work. Or leaving when you're done with your stuff. Some days I finish up everything I have to do early. Or I'm waiting for someone to get back to me. Why can't I leave and run errands? Or go to the gym? Anything. I'm reachable via call, email, or text. Instead, I pretend to work by posting on Reddit because I'm at least typing away at my keyboard. This just came up on my job. Upper management was getting upset because people were leaving 7 minutes early because the time clock rounds to the nearest 15. I'm sitting there reading the notice about making good judgments, thinking how pointless it was that they wanted us to sit at our desk and look busy for 7 minutes. Because fuck it if anyone is getting any work done in those few minutes. I am salary and I was talked to because I work 8 to 4:30, but I normally leave at 4:27 to catch my bus home. Apparently, it is horribly unprofessional and looks bad. Edit for clarity. It looks bad to leave early when I have done all my work for the day, even though nobody walks by my desk. I was somewhat baffled, but apologized. My problem is now that I can't take my normal bus, and I need to wait until 4:45 to catch the next one. I am tempted to write to my supervisor saying, since I cannot leave 3 minutes early, I would like an hour of overtime pay each week for staying at work an extra 75 minutes a week. The other thing that pisses me off a lot is people go on 45-minute coffee runs to Starbucks or something, and nobody cares. So if I sat at my desk from 8 to 4:27 and left early, I would get in trouble. If I leave from 9 to 10 for no reason, nobody would care. Such bullshit. And to those of you saying you really complain about waiting another 12 to 15 minutes, you need to get your priorities straight. You agreed to work the hours, etc. I'm not complaining about the time or missing my normal bus. I'm complaining about having to sit around when there is no work to do. When we are busy, I usually stay until 5 or later to get my work done because we have hard deadlines. When there isn't much work to do, I am done at 3. Does it really matter if I leave at 4:27? That is what I am addressing. They want me to sit at my desk like busy till 4:30 regardless of how much work there is to do. If there is work, I'll be working late. If there isn't work, do I really need to sit at my desk and stare at my email box reading old emails? There's plenty of research showing that napping at work actually improves productivity. I believe a lot of companies in Japan are actually encouraging it. Also, working in IT, I wish the whole leave when your work is done is something you could do. I spend 5 to 7 hours a day at work bored because there's nothing to do. Can confirm, work in IT. Have had nothing to do all day. Boss is on holiday. Will inevitably find something to tell me off for when he gets back, even though no one had a computer crisis. Second breakfast. More partial to 11 cents. What? Scratching your boobs / lady parts / nuts in public when they're itchy. Or moving your pants when you have a wedgie. That shit annoys me to no end. In my country, this is acceptable for guys, as long as you do it while talking to someone. Girl, do you want to go for a dinner on Friday? Me adjusting my boner while looking in her eyes. Sure. Shorter work weeks. I find it insane that we all sell away so much of our lives and essentially allow other people to own us. And I'm not against working or having a purpose / role in life. I just think, currently, people give their employers way too much of themselves for very little in return. People complain about their jobs always make me appreciate what I do for a living, which is stay home and make videos all day. So much more fun. Going to the cinema alone, or being alone in general. I've gone to the movie theaters alone like once or twice. It was a fun time, but I totally felt like I was a weirdo doing it. It's like I didn't have anyone to go with, but I really wanted to see this movie. The whole idea that going to the movie theater alone being socially unacceptable is just in your head. Try it sometime. No one gives a fuck. No one even notices you. No one cares. There's nothing unacceptable about it. Yeah, that's true. No one does care, but you still, it's that thing in your head. It's like, this is only what losers do. Being friendly with others of the opposite sex in the workplace. I'm not saying getting to fool around with them, but I have some female coworkers that I am friends with and joke around with. All the older people in the department think I'm a flirt and a womanizer. Being friendly with others of the opposite sex in the workplace. Oh, is that true? I was friends with all the girls at my old job. That's different. They were talking about like a corporate world. Everybody was friends with each other at my old place. Some of those guys definitely were. They didn't like me. Because I had a lot of... Did I have more lady friends and guy friends when I used to work? I probably did. Whatever. I was friends with most of the guys. There's only a couple of them who didn't like me. And even then, we weren't really on bad terms. It was just they'd had a slight dislike for me. And I didn't have a dislike for them, so it was totally cool. We could work together, no problems. And that was only like one person I can think of off the top of my head. Everyone else I was totally fine with. Because I am a likable person. And I know how to manipulate people. Only reason someone wouldn't like me is if... actually, I was kind of rude to him a few times. That makes sense. Try working on education. The women are almost your only option, so people don't think it's weird. Just change your career to manage the perceptions of your work friendships. It's in BD. I actually do work in education. I think that is part of the problem. Even though I work in a university, it isn't unusual for one or two faculty to treat it like high school drama. People are going to treat it like high school drama no matter where you are. Letting all the kids go out and play in the neighborhood like in the 80s. I feel so bad for my niece. My sister is moving on to the same block I grew up on, but her experience is going to be completely different. I used to hop on my bike in the morning. I might be back for lunch. Otherwise, I'd be back for dinner. Honestly, I don't think my sister is going to let that happen, even though that neighborhood has only gotten nicer since I was a kid. Everyone is on my sister like it was a choice she made. It's shit like this that is stopping her. Yeah, you can't really set your kids out, otherwise people will call the cops on you. We've talked about it, and she's not happy about it either, but she doesn't want the shitstorm from her other parents that you unfortunately hear so much about. When I was a kid, talking mid-90ish, we weren't allowed to be inside on the weekends, and especially over summer break. My parents told us to leave when we woke up and be inside when the streetlights came on, which in the South MS was as late as 8:30 or 9 p.m. at the height of summer. This was basically the case for every kid in a 6-block radius. We all just roamed around like a pack of idiots, riding bikes or playing street hockey or tag or whatever the fuck in 100+ degree heat. Drinking straight out of the hose because you know damn well none of the adults gonna let a bunch of sweaty children come inside for water. I used to do that too. That wasn't even that long ago. Mid-90ish? Yeah, that's about the time I grew up though. This is what I never got. I grew up in the 90s as well and drank out of the garden hose a lot as a kid. But now they're saying that even that will get a kid sick because bacteria can grow on the inside. There's a certain point where people need to accept some risk and just let their kids live. I once had a slug get inside a hose and smack me in the face when I turned the hose on to drink out of it. Ew, gross. I used to drink out of the water hose too. Media fear-mongering is absolutely rampant and is now seriously fucking with future child development. Helicopter parents are everywhere now because they have been spoon-fed nonsense about the world and now fear every stranger as potential kidnappers / and or child rapists. Mothers are having the police called on them for letting their kids ride bikes from their house to a friend's a few blocks away, or letting them walk to the park, or even play in front of a yard unattended. Kids are being reprimanded or even expelled from schools for doing things kids normally do. But now fall into completely idiotic and draconian zero-tolerance policies schools are implementing. It's completely asinine. I hope something changes for the better soon. Well, I'm not a kid anymore, at least. Women asking men out. It's funny. People think it's socially unacceptable, yet I have never met someone who personally felt that way. Women, I wish it was okay for women to ask men out. Men, I wish that girl would save me the trouble and ask me out. Username checks out. Intense introvert. Socially acceptable. It's not like people will get mad at you for doing it. It's just girls expect guys to ask them out because that's what guys do in some cultures. Basically all of them, actually, now that I think about it. And why are you gonna ask someone out if they're supposed to ask you out? That's how it's supposed to be. But I mean, if you do ask them out, it's not really that weird. Discussing salary. It's hard to know what jobs or industries are worth trying to get into when even inquiry about salary information is met with a weird look, and I do all right. What do you mean, how much money do you make? This would be a good Askreddit question. It would be a terrible Askreddit question because you'd run into the same problem as you'd see in subs like career questions, where the only people talking about how much they make are people who are either straight up lying or fudging ridiculous numbers. You never hear about Dale, who works in an IT consulting firm, making a flat $65K a year with full health and dental. But Tim, who just graduated and got a job at the startup making $180K, will tell you all about it and how you're a chump for making any less than him. Tim's job actually pays $48K a year, but if he was getting that on-call bonus every week instead of once every 2 months in the rotation, and the stock options that vest after 2 years could have some nebulous value which Tim has incorrectly calculated way above their potential worth, provided the company doesn't fold in the next 6 months, and he gets a yearly bonus equivalent to his salary, and they actually pay him for all the mandatory overtime he works instead of placating him with free beer and flex time, he might be somewhere near the number in the next decade. $180K a year, that's a lot of money. Saying no to an invitation without having to make up an excuse. I'll just say no, but then nobody invites me anywhere anymore. That's why it's not a socially acceptable thing. That's why you make up an excuse, because if you just tell them no, they're going to be like, okay, I probably won't ask him anymore. Ask them anymore. Sometimes. I remember in high school I used to get asked out to hang out all the time. I would always just tell them no. But they still kept asking me out, even though I never said yes. Having a bad day. I mean, if your day sucks every day, that's different. Something needs to be changed, but sometimes I just get off on the wrong foot or something and I'm sad or crabby or just generally not pleasant to be around for that day. The thing is, I don't take my frustration out on other people. I mean, I usually keep to myself, and yet my boss, coworkers, and what have you, they all want to be like, what's wrong? What's the matter? Why are you being so quiet today? I appreciate the concern, but just let me be me. Some days I just don't feel like talking or being social. It's nothing against anyone, I'm just not having a great day. Maybe me and my wife fought this morning, or maybe I'm worried about a mole I found on my leg. Whatever the case, if I want to talk about it, I'd bring it up, but everyone acts like they have to try and cheer me up and talk to me. If you just let me be till I go home and go to sleep, I promise when I wake up tomorrow I'll probably be fine. People get in bad moods, it happens. They don't need to, it's just a fact of life. As long as that person isn't taking their personal shit on you, why bother them? Nudity. I'm not saying we should all walk around naked, but people get way more embarrassed about it than they should. Playing. As an adult, there are times I just want to start playing with toys or Legos and make up stupid scenarios and stories like I did when I was a kid. But if I do it now at 22, suddenly I'm autistic. Going braless. I have small boobs. Why should the world care that I have nipples? Point blank calling someone out on being a total dick. Repositioning your gentlemanhood in public without looking like a creep. The secret is to look them in the eyes, adjust, and nod. As a grown man, telling a little girl that she is adorable. No, I don't want to abduct your child. Her ponytails are out of this world cute. Now, good day. I have to go gnash my teeth and eat some beef stew. Being around kids as a grown male in general, people are so damn paranoid these days. That's true. When someone dies, I want to know the cause of death. Just being silent. We don't always have to be talking. We could just be absorbing the world around us, but for a lot of people, sitting in silence is really awkward. I don't mind it at all. Is there nothing to say? Why say anything? Found the fin. Picking my nose. Sometimes blowing into a tissue just isn't going to cut it, and you need to bring out the big guns. If God didn't want me to pick my nose, then why are our nostrils so finger-sized? Maybe your fingers are nostril-sized. Being a straight guy, telling another straight guy that he's attractive. Sometimes they just need to know. Yeah, that is a not socially acceptable thing. That's something I totally do, but people already think I'm a little weird. I agree with you, but there's a guy at my gym, married with 2 small kids, who takes it way too far. Coming up behind me and whispering, "You sexy bitch," in my ear while the middle of a set is where I draw the line. I should not be feeling your facial hair on my face. Fine, but I'm going to see it soon. Stop sexually assaulting me. That does not look like an ordinary interaction. He wants your dick. Yeah, that's going too far. Girls talking about masturbation. Come on, we all do it, ladies. Talking about depression and mental illness. No, it won't stop if I just pretend to be happy again. And no, I don't make it up. And another no, it won't cure it if I just stop thinking about it. I've done so many book reports about how depression would be a more treatable thing if people just knew more about it. Full-on sprinting from place to place. I haven't got time to walk everywhere. I'm a grown-ass mass. Why can't I run around inside? My biggest thing would be like, what if you get all sweaty and shit? That's gross.